I'm worried my husband's sister might have been trying to harm or even kill me. 3 days ago, my husband and I went to his parents' house to visit for the weekend. His sister is a college student who is home for the summer as well, so we got to see her too. Since they have a lakefront property and the weather was very nice, a lot of our time was spent at the lake this weekend and some very weird things happened. For some background first, I've always gotten kind of an off vibe from my husband's younger sister. When we were dating, it seems like she would find any excuse in the world to avoid me, and when we did interact, I sensed some hostile undertones pretty much every single time. I brushed it off as just me maybe not clicking with her or misinterpreting her. Still, when we got married last year, I included her as one of my bridesmaids, and low-key she was a huge pain in the ass for that entire experience. My other bridesmaids told me she made snide comments to them that made them quite uncomfortable, was huffy during the bridal shower and wedding rehearsal, made weird faces at the decorations, and pulled weird faces when she ate the cake too. I still brushed it off as maybe just her personality and left it at that. At the lake, though, a number of events occurred that kind of unsettled me. On the day we arrived, my husband's sister had invited a number of her own friends from college over, and the group of us spent some time together in the water. At one point, we all decided to have a big chicken fight, and at first, it was quite fun and lighthearted. Then a bunch of people, including my husband, broke away to do their own thing, and his sister turned to me and said, "Let's do another round," with her other two friends left in the lake, and asked to get on my shoulders. I said sure, and knelt down under the water to let her up, but instead of getting on my shoulders properly, she got on top of my head and wouldn't budge at all when I tried to move her. I couldn't get her off me or even get my head up to breathe for what felt like a long while. My head was being squeezed between her thighs, and I was seriously panicking by the time I managed to dislodge her and bring my head up to the surface. What's weird about it was that the other two weren't even paying attention to any of this or even participating in the attempted chicken fight at all. My husband's sister didn't say anything to me when I came up to the surface, just gave me this kind of weird snort, chuckled, and got out of the water. I was noticeably shaken and trying to catch my breath, but I assumed maybe this was just some sort of accident, so I tried to act fine and didn't say anything. My husband's parents have a sea-doo that they let those of us with a boating license use. I don't have a boating license, so it was mostly just me riding behind my husband with him at the wheel. My husband's sister offered me a ride, though, and I didn't want to say no, thinking maybe this was a chance to bond with her, so I agreed to it. I told her the sea-doo still made me quite nervous, though, and to take it easy if she could. She definitely did not take it easy. She took any and every opportunity she could to jump the sea-doo off the wakes of the boat that passed us by, and was doing sharp turns at high speeds like crazy, and I found myself having to cling to her for dear life throughout the ride. There were points where we both nearly fell off the sea-doo with how wildly she was driving it. Again, though, I didn't say anything about it and acted fine because I thought maybe she didn't realize how fast and crazy she was going. Later, my husband's dad yelled at her for attempting to splash my husband with the sea-doo while he was in the water. Their dad told her it was dangerous to try and ride close to people in the water like that because she could have run him over. After about an hour or so, it was just me in the water with my husband's sister on the sea-doo, and she drove that thing within a couple feet of me just to turn it and splash me with the water, way closer than she ever got to my husband when she'd do it to him. I laughed it off, but again was inwardly freaked out. That brings us to yesterday at dinner. As everyone in the family has been made acutely aware of by my husband, I have a serious dairy allergy to the point where ingesting even a little bit of it can risk causing anaphylaxis. My husband's sister contributed a big pot of tomato rice and told me there was no dairy in it so I could have some. I trusted her and helped myself to a portion of it, but shortly after eating it I had to excuse myself because I started to feel extremely ill and wound up spending the rest of my night puking my brains out. I felt super faint and it took lots of effort to breathe. Thankfully I had my EpiPen if things had gone bad enough, but still the whole experience was just awful. The explanation I got later was that my husband's sister finished the tomato rice with butter to make it creamier and then forgot she put it in there before serving it to me. Seems again like could be an innocent mistake, but given the combination of everything that's happened this weekend, I'm starting to feel suspicious that it's more than just that at this point. I don't know if I'm overreacting or just being a paranoid mess, because this is a huge accusation, but I can't help but feel that nagging suspicion that maybe my husband's sister genuinely meant to harm. I feel like I'm crazy. Like and follow for more.